You don't need more time to heal. You need a shift in perspective. And for the love of the sweet lesbian baby Jesus, JC, that's Jodie Comer, stop worrying about your ex. She's got her own psyche to deal with. Whether she does the work or not up to you anymore. Not for you to worry about. Your focus is now on you.
You're southern lesbian, traveling the globe again, from London to California with a little bit of Carolina.
Happy Indigenous Day to those of you in the States. I know, y'all. It's Thanksgiving. I am not in the States right now, but I'm wishing y'all a happy day. I hope you have a good one. Welcome back, y'all. I am Ashley Heydrich, your Southern Lesbian. If you're new here, welcome. It's good to have you. So today, y'all, we are going to dive into owning your shadow side. What is your shadow side, lesbian? Well, I'm going to tell you. We love to say that time heals all wounds, and I got to tell you, if that were true, I would be a freaking saint by now. I would be Jesus or Jodie Comer. But, you know, what healing actually means, y'all, is a shift in perspective. Like if I've learned anything after all this work that I've done, the healing work to do was all right here. It literally is just learning how to, like we've talked about before, remove these blocks, change the way you see things, shift your perspective. It really is that simple. It's not about fixing your ex. It really is just about seeing what those relationships taught you about you. The shadow side isn't something to be afraid of. Now, there is an author named David R. Hawkins who has this book called Letting Go. And if you've never read it, it's pretty intense. But he describes the shadow side as basically the parts of your own self that you're not willing to look at. So what does this mean? This means that if we're out there in the streets or online, as it is these days, telling everybody our ex is toxic, or everybody's talking about the toxic exes, toxic this, toxic that, well, you know, we know energetically we attract from our own little antennas, right? So what does that say about us? Just saying, that's not fun to look at. That's not fun to look at. So it really is like at that point, turning that microscope that you've had on the other person, if you've just been through a breakup or if you're in a relationship and you're having a tough time and you can't quite figure out why, you're always annoyed by things, it's turning that microscope around to point this way. And it's not fun. It literally is asking yourself, what was it about me that tolerated that? How did I attract that? I mean, if you've attracted someone and y'all ended up in this toxic dynamic, which, yeah, I've been there, chances are you've also matched with someone who's in survival mode. So if this makes absolutely no sense to you, what are you talking about, lesbian? Go back and listen to episode 40 because I walk you through it. I explain it in great detail. This whole what we attract is from where we are kind of thing. What we refuse to look at holds power over us. But once we shine a light on it, is when we can start getting curious about it. And the more curious we get and the more questions we ask and the deeper we go, the more we can start to heal it. It's really great to sage your home, but you need to start with saging this. You know what I'm saying? You cannot manifest new love with yesterday's energy. So this can be taken in a lot of different ways, right? This can apply to our bodies. You know how everybody is taking supplements because they're afraid of developing XYZ, or they're afraid of aging. You know, we do physical treatments to our face or whatever because we're afraid of aging. What if we flip that? What if we, instead of doing things, eating things, taking things in fear, learn how to say, I'm going to feed my body. Thank you, broccoli, or whatever it is, for nourishing my body. I love taking care of you. You're so strong and healthy, and I want to take the best care of you that I can for the rest of my life and support you. Like, what if we start approaching things from that dynamic rather than everything always being about fear? And of course, this applies the same way in your relationships. Like, what if you, instead of playing small because you're afraid that your girlfriend is going to leave you or she's not going to like what you have to say, what if you be brave? And what if you support that inner Ashley and say, hey, I'm going to speak up for myself because I believe in what I have to say matters and I have needs and we're going to see what happens here when I say it. What if we nourish ourselves with love instead of with punishment? And David Hawkins says that this shadow side is really just fear. We know that, right? And he says it's either fear of another or fear of yourself. So I would imagine, fear of another would be what we just talked about, right? If I do X, then my partner might leave me. Fear of yourself could be, if I do agree to X that my partner wants me to do, then I feel bad about myself. So get curious about these things. It really is a matter of the more you dig, the more questions you ask, the more you start to uncover these layers and remove these blocks of your shadow self. So why? Ask yourself why. Why am I afraid of speaking up? Where does that come from? Is it really me, adult Ashley, afraid to speak up for her own needs? Like that just sounds awful. Or is it little Ashley from childhood who knew that if she spoke up, it didn't matter, or her needs didn't get met? I mean, what's really going on there? That's what you have to dig to the bottom of, because whatever's going on here right now that's coming out as your shadow side, that's what you've got to uncover, because doing so helps you separate the situation as, oh, this isn't really about her standing in front of me. This isn't about this situation. This is from way back eons ago. And when you can start to make those separations and understand the whys behind how you're behaving and these triggers that are happening for you, then you stop associating her with the problem. There's a woman named Margot Miller online, and she's on Instagram and I don't know what other platform, but she's amazing. She's a super inspiring women's business coach, and she's a little bit woo-woo too, so I love her. And she said something the other day that really resonated, and something to the effect of like, hey, you want to start trying to attract your soulmate, not your wound mate. And that really resonated with me. I was like, well, I never thought about it that way before. But if we're going to be deliberate and intentional about not attracting a wound mate anymore, single people, what does that look like? To put it simply, a wound mate is somebody that matches your pain, right? And a soulmate is going to match your peace. Notice I said match, meet you where you are. So if you're not peaceful, guess what you're going to get? Somebody who's not peaceful. Again, if what we're broadcasting is trauma, then guess what we're going to get? Someone who shows up with a lot of static, in their vibration. If you want to see a healthy reflection in the mirror, you got to be healthy. So how do we do this? How do we change up our energy? Well, we just talked about it at length in the last episode, right? Gratitude lists, gratitude walks, journaling, diving deep, asking questions, why, and another why. Just keep going down different levels of this and dig as deep as you can, as far back as you can, to get to that origin point of where you first felt that pain, Okay, so I got some notes for y'all. How to tell when someone's just mirroring that old wound versus genuine alignment. Okay, let me check this out. So wound mirroring feels like an instant high. Magnetic, familiar, even obsessive. You know who you are. Alignment feels calm and grounded and safe from the start. If it feels like fireworks, check that it's not just a flare from your past. Fair. Number 2, notice how your nervous system feels. When your body tenses up at your brain saying, no, she's just intense, that's an old wound talking. Okay, all right, fine. Let's talk about this for a second. Your body knows before your brain catches up. Y'all know that, right? I mean, when you're out with somebody and you start to feel butterflies, we've talked about them damn butterflies before too. I mean, you got to do a double check when you feel the butterflies, I have learned, because yes, there's an excitement. I love that feeling too, y'all, but sometimes I can't tell the difference if it's nervous anxiety or if it's like something that feels good, because I have found that when I'm in a healthy relationship with somebody, no matter who it is, like I tend to relax a little bit. I don't have this crazy energy going on all the time. I'm excited to see him, sure, but you should be able to be yourself and just relax and not feel like you have to perform. Number 3, observe the pace. Wound connections move fast, like U-Haul fast. Again, how many of y'all been there? Raise your hand. I could raise my toes if I can get them up here. Alignment should feel mutual. And if you're feeling like you're having to play her therapist on the first date, girl, that ain't for you. That's not a date. Throw that fish back. Number 5, pay attention after that high. So someone safe after that buzz starts to fade should still feel consistent, You should know where you stand with them, even after conflict. Sorry, we're going to say it again. Even after conflict, you should know how this person feels, and it should be kind. You should be able to disagree with someone that you're with who is aligned with you. It shouldn't be a battle. And if you're finding that you're hanging out with someone that you have a beautiful connection to, and it's boring, but it feels aligned, and you're missing that chaos, you might be addicted to chaos. And you might want to do a little double check with yourself on that. Number 6, ask yourself, do I like who I am in this connection? Well, that's a pretty easy one, right? Does she make you feel like you have to chase her? Do you make her chase you? Are you playing games with each other? Do y'all consistently communicate? Do you consistently show up for each other? If this relationship makes you shrink at all, that's old programming. So the easiest way to tell the difference, y'all, is that alignment feels like peace, not panic. So if she feels like home to you, just make sure it's not your childhood home. All right, so I've got a couple of books for y'all to check out in case you want to do a deeper dive on this stuff, because when I was going through this and when I was trying to understand and grasp this concept and I just wanted to live in this energy longer, sometimes you learn a cool point and you're like, okay, I get it, but it doesn't really stick. The next day you're like, what was that lesbian saying again? Reading a book that talks further on these topics sometimes can be a really great way to just ground it in, right? A couple of books that helped me. Number 1, Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. Now, I know he's not a big lesbian, and I know, it seems like a weird, actually, he's a random actor that plays the bongos when he's naked. I know. He's a pretty cool guy, y'all. He's a pretty cool guy. And that book, Green Lights, talks about his process, literally, of learning this path, learning how to recognize the red lights versus recognizing the green lights. And he's got a very inspiring story, and I highly recommend you check it out if you've never read it or listened to it on Audible or whatever. Number 2, Will Smith's book, his biography, autobiography about himself. Y'all, I cried reading that book. The stuff that man has been through. Again, not a lesbian. Again, I know he smacked Chris Rock on. I get it. People aren't perfect, y'all, but if they have a lesson to teach you that they've been through, I'm just saying, we're all at different stages of our healing, and I'm not saying listen to these guys about everything in life, but they've learned a thing or two, and I'm telling y'all these books are good. Will Smith's book he literally traces everything back to his childhood, and you get to hear about what he grew up in, and it wasn't always great, y'all, and what that man came from and where he's landed. That's inspiring stuff. Number 3, Untamed by our dear lesbian friend Glennon Doyle. Oh my God, I love me some Glennon Doyle. That book, I know it's a few years old. All these books are a couple of years old, but that's when I read them, okay? But if you haven't read them, Untamed, if you are someone that tends to shrink, if you are used to playing small, if you are looking to find your inner GD cheetah, as she says, this book is for you. It is so powerful, y'all. It is a life-changing book. I kid you not. If you're used to people-pleasing, check it out. It will help you learn to spot the difference in your own behavior and who is healthy for you to step up for and who isn't. So, highly recommend it. And you can read other books too. It doesn't have to be these 3, but if you're looking for this type of material, start looking for people who have literally cracked themselves open to do the work. That's what you're looking for. So to wrap this up, you don't need more time to heal. You just need to know that you are capable of handling your light and your dark. Once we stop labeling the other person as toxic, the other person as the problem, and we turn that around and start to look inward and start to do the deep dive, then we find out we might have been contributing some things to the problem. We might be the problem. That's where the real work happens. Because once you're willing to see your own shadow and do the work and heal from the shadow, you stop dating other people who are still in their shadow. You can't control whether or not your ex evolves, but you can evolve past needing to. Okay, I'm going to leave y'all with a little woo-woo wisdom. Why do I wag my finger at y'all? I don't know. I'm going to leave you with a little woo-woo wisdom of the week from, again, Magdalena McClellan, who I adore, okay? She says, what is meant for you is not delayed. It is aligning at the speed of your readiness. Y'all, I hurt my own feelings with that one. What is meant for you is not delayed. It is arriving at the speed of your own readiness. Right. Here we are. Okay, y'all. So just remember, we don't heal by hating on our exes. We heal by remembering the version of you that loved her and offering that woman a little grace. And honestly, offer your ex some grace too. You know, y'all came together at one time and had a lot of fun, I'm sure. Taught each other a lot. So be kind. If any of my exes are watching this, I'm so sorry. And I'm so grateful for y'all. And I'm grateful for you guys here this week too, as always. If you got something out of this, please let me know. I'd love to hear your comments on this. I was a little all over the place. I was a little disjointed today, but thank you for sticking with me. I'd love to hear your comments. I love hearing your feedback. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. It means so much to us if you do. If you haven't checked out the TikTok page, y'all, that community, they do interact with each other a bit more over there. Y'all are welcome to do that here too. Talk amongst yourselves. There's a bunch of lesbians here chatting, you know, looking to do healing work. I mean, that's a good community, right? I think so. But the TikTok community, y'all, they're a little unhinged. They're wife shopping and all that. I've told y'all that before. There's all kinds of crazy comments going on there, but it's a lot of fun. Anyway, I am sending you so much love. Y'all have a wonderful holiday weekend, and I'll see you next time, okay? Bye, y'all. Just a reminder, y'all, I'm not a doctor. Everything I share here is for entertainment and encouragement, not medical advice. The views you hear are mine or my guests, not my sponsors. Any similarity to real people is purely coincidence.